Hello friends, welcome back to HeartScapes, where we're learning the systems of Reiki and Soul Collage to live lives that are rooted, spacious, connected, and to provision us for the journeys home to ourselves. My name's Michaela. Welcome back, not to the studio, just wanted to sit down in my little reading nook here and just have a little chat with you. This video is one that I do occasionally, just basically a little bit of an update, just some logistical updates with you around the various ways that we can stay connected, both here on YouTube and outside of this YouTube space. Just want to let you know some things that are changing, some things that are being added and shifting for 2025. And yeah, let you know how you can engage in all of that. So first, a little bit of background. There's, of course, a synergy between this space, the YouTube space, and the offerings and spaces that I hold in other places. And over the past couple of years, the main way that that has looked is that I offer a free class every month for people to join live over Zoom. And then I have put that recording here on YouTube for others to enjoy at your leisure. It's really important to me to provide a range of ways that people can access these teachings, this information, these practices, and community building around them in ways that are accessible. So having a range of costs from free to some higher cost offerings and just a range of places that people can connect. It's really important to me. So that structure basically has been going on for quite some time. A number of years ago, that looked like an offering called Intuition Lab. And we met monthly to work with the connections between the system of Reiki and our intuition. That work has grown into something I'm really excited about that I'll tell you about in a little bit. And at a certain point, that inquiry had kind of become exhausted. We'd had the conversations we needed to have, and I felt that that offering needed to transition into something else in order to stay alive, in order for me to stay engaged and interested, not get too bored with it. And so I started offering that same free class. It's generally Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific time on rotating topics. And so that allowed us to really dig into this intersection between the system of Reiki from its Japanese origin. So really digging into those ancient roots that the system of Reiki has, continuing to learn about them, continuing to learn about the ways in which those practices came to be. And then to always come back to the question of, okay, so what does all of that have to do with my daily life, right? Why would I want to bring this practice into my day to day? What is that going to do for me? How is it going to impact my day to day life? So those rotating classes would look at a wide range of topics such as Reiki and grief, Reiki and joy, Reiki and navigating difficult conversations, childbirth and pregnancy. Lots and lots and lots of different realms of life that, we kind of chose the topics based on what seemed to be alive in my community, things that people were asking and talking about. And I love that. I love the creativity of that, the way in which this space of teaching and learning interacts with our daily life. And so I've been doing that for about the past 2 years. And most of those recordings, the first ones I wasn't sharing on YouTube, but I would say about half of that time I was sharing those monthly classes here in this space. And you can find them in a playlist called A Sweet Taste of HeartScapes. So coming into 2025, I knew that I wanted to continue offering that free point of access that we can gather together on a community that is in an accessible way. But I once again was feeling that particular format kind of coming to a close, and that there was a couple of things that wanted to come in and that wanted to change. So the first thing that wanted to change is that there is a format for the free class that I feel really excited about, that I'm going to transition that Wednesday free class and then sharing some of the recordings here on YouTube. I haven't quite figured this one out yet, but there will be some of it shared here on YouTube. That is going to turn into an offering that I'm going to talk more in detail about in another video. But in essence, it's going to be an offering that brings us into a ritual space that allows us to explore our dreams, what we are hoping for in our lives and in the world, kind of expanding what we hope for our individual lives, our communities, our families out into the world. using Reiki-based meditation to dream into that, to really get a sense of the story of what it is that we are dreaming into, and then creatively share that story together as a way of dreaming into it collectively. And, in a sense, casting a bit of a spell, using our focus, using the focusing powers of the mind that Reiki trains us to do to really focus our attention and concentrate on what we want to see real in the world. I'll share more about that a little bit later. But that is what our free offering monthly is going to evolve into, coming very soon, possibly in February, but probably in March. On the other side, I'm still very excited about the inquiry of bringing the practice of Reiki into our daily lives and doing that in a little bit of a more in depth way. Our free classes are an hour. That gives a very limited amount of time to dig into a subject as juicy as how do we live in a state of joy, or how do we apply Reiki to our pregnancy experience. These are, in depth questions that an hour gives us a chance to just scratch the surface on. And so, what I want to do with that offering is extend the time a little bit, make it a little bit more of a robust offering, still relatively introductory so that anybody can pick it up and enjoy it, and transition that to a paid offering that will still be offered live on Zoom at a very accessible low cost with a sliding scale. And then the recordings of those classes are going to go into our Thinkific classroom. Thinkific is something that we added last year to house my trauma-informed Reiki class. It's a way to, create a catalog, a library of classes that are self-paced, that are pre-recorded, and that are relatively lower cost for that reason, and that are accessible at any time. People can engage them at any time that they like at their own pace. And so it's one of my goals this year is to really build up that library. There are several courses in there right now, including the Trauma Informed Reiki class, which is a very robust, quite a long, in-depth course, but to get a number of shorter, more accessible courses in there that people can, again, dive into at any time. And so that's what our monthly class will be connected to. So those classes will no longer be here on YouTube, although I might clip out parts of them to just continue sharing some of that content. Those classes are going to be offered live at a time to be determined, roughly monthly, and then they will be transitioned over to Thinkific, available at any time in the recorded form. I wanted to circle back to Intuition Lab. I mentioned that work with Reiki and intuition has evolved into something new. That is a class that is now, right now, in this very moment, available on Thinkific as a self-paced course. It is called Calibrating Your Inner Compass, using Reiki to deepen your intuition. And it is a fairly in-depth, decent length class that goes into a particular way of understanding the intuition through the lens of the system of Reiki, and then quite a number of practices to engage the intuition from a number of perspectives, including, dealing with frustration, dealing with times when we thought we were following our intuition and it went wrong. How do we interpret and navigate that, as well as many practices that help us come into really good, right, solid relationship with our intuitive capabilities. I'm really proud of that work. It did grow out of those 2 years that community members were meeting around the topic of intuition. So a lot of you have put your ideas and experiences into that material. Really excited to offer it to you. And that is available now on Thinkific. And I will, of course, put the link to that down below. I may also put a coupon code down there for you, for those of you watching this video, to pick up that intuition class at a little bit of a discount. So that's my update on the offerings of HeartScapes, the way in which this YouTube channel interfaces with my offerings in other spaces, the way that they build relationships so that we can be in relationship, we can stay in community, and continue to learn and grow together. I'm really excited to see where this new format takes us this year. And finally, I want to invite you all to give me some input on topics that you would like to see in that monthly class that is going to be offered through Thinkific. I have a list of topics that I am excited to dig into, but that space has always been informed by what the community is most interested in. And so if there's a topic you would like to explore through a accessible, reasonably short class that explores the way in which the system of Reiki can support us in daily life, any aspect of daily life, I would love to know about it. Please drop that down in the comments to help inform the planning for the coming months. Thanks so much for hanging with me for this little update. I very much appreciate you. If you want to stay with me, and you have not yet subscribed, please do. It really helps out the channel to subscribe, to like, to share these videos around, and engage in this space. It helps others find the space, and it helps me know that you're interested in what's happening here. So thank you so much for listening. Until next time, may you be deeply provisioned for the rest of your day, for the rest of your week. And thank you for joining me for these few minutes. I love you. Goodbye.